All right, guys, so we have a little treat for you today. Kristen and I are starting a new vlog series called Healthy Hacks, and this is one of the recipes that's going to be on there, but I actually eat this as my pre-workout meal. So this is the world famous Ezekiel protein brownie. I actually made this by accident. It's currently what my pre-workout meal is right now. My kitchen's a little dark, so I'm going to break down all the ingredients for you here so you can see them clearly. Now, you can use any protein that you like. I find that the Rule 1 protein mixes very well with this. This is naturally flavored chocolate. This is glutamine powder. Glutamine is amino acid that's going to help your body recover. I do about 30 grams of it a day. Then you need oats. I'm a big fan of the 1-minute oats. They're ground up a little finer. You can use the old-fashioned, totally up to you, steel cut, whatever you like. The Ezekiel cereal, they have a couple of different flavors. Right now I'm using the almond one. There is a little bit more fat in here, but I would suggest if you're trying to eat clean to avoid the one that has raisins in it. Again, this is gonna fit my macros. My current macros right now for this meal are gonna be 50 grams of protein, I have 60 grams of carbs, and then I have 10 grams of fat. So you'll have to adjust it according to your needs. Now, another flavor enhancer is this powdered peanut butter. We happen to use Lakanto, I think that's the way to pronounce it. Anyway, you can use any powdered peanut butter. I just happen to put it in the PB2 jar because I'm lazy and I don't feel like buying another one. They're all relatively the same as far as amount of fat per serving, which is 1.5. I get this question a lot. In this peanut butter, which I'm using for my fat source for the meal, is 8 grams of fat per 1 tablespoon. So this cannot replace this. I'm just using this for flavor, and I'm using this for my fat source. The Wegmans Organic Crunchy is one of my favorites. And then I'm using unsweetened almond milk. I'm gonna use sugar-free caramel macchiato. It's unbelievable. And then I'm using sugar-free Hershey syrup. Now, I'm gonna make one for you. I have a finished product. This is what the brownie looks like coming out of the freezer. I highly recommend when you make this, if you've never tried this before, put it in the freezer, and then if it's not thawed out in the morning when you're ready to eat it, you can pop it in the microwave for like 10 or 20 seconds, and it gives you a nice texture, and I literally ate this for 8 months straight. Okay guys, so I basically did a little legwork, all right? I made the foundation of this. So in here, again, I can't express to you enough, these are fitting my macros. If you're following a food plan and you want to make this, ask your coach a breakdown of the macros of the meals. If your coach knows what he's doing, he or she should be able to give you the macro breakdown. So just to reiterate, I have 60 grams of carbs in here that I basically laid out. So you need proper measuring equipment. So obviously this is a measuring cup and I have a measuring spoon. So what I did is I took 2 quarter cups of the oats and I took 2 quarter cups of the Ezekiel cereal, and that gave me my 60 grams of carbohydrates. I also put 2 scoops of the glutamine in there, that's 10 grams, and now I'm gonna add my protein from my trusty container. So 2 scoops of my protein, 1 scoop is 25, so we're gonna be doing 2 scoops. Okay, so now I basically have all my essential macros in here. Everything else is extra. So I love the way that the powdered peanut butter tastes. Again, this is not subbing the peanut butter that I'm using on the outside of when I finish it. So I'm gonna put in a tablespoon.
There's like no fats in there, right?
It's like a 1.5. So it's not really gonna make a difference. This is just for flavor. People ask me all the time, can they sub this for regular peanut butter? You cannot, from a fat standpoint. All right, so we got that in there. I'm a big fan of cacao powder, the unsweetened cacao powder. So sometimes I do 2, which I'm probably gonna do now. Okay, so now once I have this whole base ready to go, the most important part to this process is, because I do like freezing it, if you put too much liquid in, it's never gonna set the way that it's supposed to. So be very sparing with the liquid when you put it in. It should almost be like a paste or just kind of thick. So I'll just kind of gently pour it in, and then I'll start to stir it until I get the desired consistency, because remember, I'm gonna set this in the freezer. And if I were you, I would get a deeper Tupperware, just so that way when you start mixing it, it doesn't fall out the sides. So obviously I need a little bit more liquid. When you do this, I suggest that you do 2 or 3 at a time, because I could see it being a pain in the ass, like making one of these every day. And the cool thing is, as long as you have space in your freezer, you'll be able to stack 2 or 3 of these. So you can see how it's starting to kind of tighten up a little bit. I'm gonna try and use all the liquid that's in there right now and make it work, because I like mine to be on the thicker side. Again, you can always add more liquid in if you need to. See how it's starting to tighten up?
Smells good.
Delicious. Now guys, if you're in a rush and you want to eat this like a cereal, I have a lot of people that eat this like a cereal. I mean, it's totally up to you. I think it tastes better as like a complete brownie, but you can eat this plain without freezing it. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And then once I get the desired consistency, the back end of the ingredients go on, and I'll explain to you how I'm using them. The reason why I like this meal is too because it digests very quickly. Now typically you should wait about an hour to an hour and a half before you train. You don't want a pool of blood in your stomach while you're getting ready to train it, and this meal digests very well. But you have to go through some trial and error for yourself. If you've never had Ezekiel cereal, see how it's nice getting like pasty right now? So this is pretty much the desired consistency that I like. I make sure that there's no dry spots in the bottom. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to layer this out. I'm basically gonna just flatten it on the bottom of the Tupperware. When it gets a little hard to move around, you know you got the right consistency. Okay, nothing fancy. My favorite part is the spoon lick, which is coming up. I know I'm taking some out of my macros, but it's a must. All right, so now that I have everything in here, this is where the brownie skills come into play. So I had mentioned before, the international...
Charlie wants some.
Of course she does.
What's the peanut butter?
Okay, so the International Delight is my favorite. So sugar-free caramel macchiato. Now you guys gotta understand, there's about 2 grams of fat in a tablespoon. A tablespoon happens like that as soon as you pour it. So that has to be calculated into your fat. So don't have a heavy hand with this. The reason I'm using this is just purely to give a little caramel, a little taste, and that's it. Now from there, I basically will move this around. So this is gonna freeze on top. So it's almost like a frosting. And then the sugar-free syrup goes on top of this. I don't go crazy with it. Just enough, like a little drizzle. And then you're done. So the only thing now that has to be added, I don't have a cover for this. So this would go into the freezer. Guys, when it goes into the freezer, make sure it's on a flat surface, because if it's on an angle, all that caramel macchiato is gonna drift to one side. So make it as flat as possible. So the only thing that we're missing in here, so this has my 50 grams of protein, this has my 60 grams of carbs. When it's in the freezer and ready to go, it's gonna look like this. So obviously it's not gonna move. So this is close to thawing, but I would probably pop this in the microwave. And my favorite part of this is taking, I'm allotted 2 teaspoons, which is really not a lot, of this peanut butter. What I will do is take the 2 teaspoons of peanut butter and literally smear it on. I'm not doing that now because I'm not going to the gym right now and I don't want to waste the peanut butter. I would put it on top and then I would literally scoop this out. And this is a meal that's not only satisfying, but like I said, more importantly, digests very quickly and very well. I never feel like I have stomach distension with this, and I literally could eat this every day. And so you could eat it as a cereal, or you could eat it as a protein brownie frozen.